Hi readers! Welcome back to The Litdulterous Whore. I'm your host, Stacey Wright. This is Season 2, Episode 10 of my Read Like Rory challenge. I hope you've had a really good week. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever read the book My Life with the Water Boys by Ali Novak. Now, there's a TV show on Netflix with the same name, and they're just about to drop Season 2. Now, I wouldn't normally plug books that have become TV shows, but my daughter happens to be an extra on the show for Season 2. So I just wanted to, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see if I can spot her in any of this here. So I'm supersonic excited. That's my loser mum plug of the day. Now, I've literally spent the rest of my week making bookmarks, taking photographs of bookmarks for my website, making more bookmarks, packaging bookmarks, shipping bookmarks, making bookish content, reading, writing reviews. Like, it's been a supersonic bookish week. And the reason for being stuck indoors is it's so goddamn hot in Calgary right now. I'm not even joking. The temperature there is like 34, 35 degrees, something crazy like that. So I'm really sorry if you can hear my air conditioner on in the background. There is no way I'm turning it off. It is too hot. So what have I been reading? I know I didn't update on Tuesday, so you're probably thinking I probably don't have a lot to talk about, but this episode is a day late, so I do have a few books to update you on. Now, I read a book called Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Now, you might be wondering, why am I reading this now? Well, I'd never read it before, okay? And I don't know what inspired me to read it, but I did, and I thought it was going to be all about a boy who is super nerdy, and he sees himself having it easier or better than everyone else because perks of being a wallflower. Well, yeah, I didn't read the synopsis, okay? I always go in blind, so this is not news for anybody that knows me. And I'm like, oh my god, this book is so sad. It was tragic. It was sad. Now it's written in diary entries is how it felt, like letters, like in a diary entry. But actually he was sending the letters out to somebody, and we never do find out who it is. But I was like, wow. And then I also read His First Wife by Sue Watson. Now, I'm a fan of her books. She tends to write these supersonic, fast-paced, twisty-wisties, moves like lightning thriller books, okay? And they're usually more psychological in tone. But this one really, I don't know, it started out really slow. And it was really quite, I don't know, I came really close to not finishing it. I almost DNF'd it. But because it was an ARC copy that I got from Book Auteur, I didn't. I kept going, even though I really didn't want to, because I really wasn't enjoying it. But then, oh my god, holy shit balls, the ending. I was like, whoa, floored, oh my god. It was like the last half of the book was just, it was like, woo. So I actually do quite recommend that one if you are interested in thrillers. Now this one, Plays Well with Others by Lauren Myracle. This one was really bizarre. There was so many points of view, and if you know me, you know I'm not a massive fan of books with multiple points of view like this. But it was, everyone was a real butthole. I'm not even joking. Everybody was, I don't like anybody. Everybody was, up to stuff, and it was really weird. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it for the most part, but it was a weird one. And it did really well on Bookstagram, so I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Now, this one actually was quite phenomenal. Claire Casey's Had Enough by Liz Alterman. Now, I think I read one of her books last year. I can't remember the name of it, but I knew who this author was. Now, Claire is in a marriage. They got 3 sons together, and she's just fed up with him not pulling his weight. He basically does whatever he wants, and the final straw was when he was supposed to pick her up from the airport. Her flight was delayed, and then she couldn't get him on the phone, and she's hopping mad by this point. So she gets home at 2 o'clock in the morning in an Uber, which she feels is unsafe. And then he'd locked her out. The door was locked. So she had to sleep in a hammock, and she just had enough. So she kicked his butt out. And it's literally this funny account of what her life looks like after she's separated from her husband. I was dying of laughter, okay? Like, my stomach hurt. I was laughing so freaking hard. So if you like comedy books, that one was a really good one. And I just started the Twisted series by Ana Huang. I'm on book 2. And I got book 3 from my library just to find out that they actually don't have book 4, which is a complete bloody bummer, because I don't want to go buying book 4 now and I don't have the rest of them. But I already spent my book budget. And as much as my husband loves me, like, he probably wouldn't say anything. But I have more books than I'm probably going to read in 5 lifetimes. I really shouldn't. This is why I was utilising my library, okay? Because I'm a bad book buyer. But anyway, let's get to the episode. So my Read Like Rory books this week, I did 2, because they were really short children's books. Now, it's funny, because I have read Alice Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Caroll before. I've read it to my kids, so I'm well attuned to this book, and I'm not gonna lie, I listened to the audiobook, because I'd never done that. But I have read the book multiple times, so I thought this might, make it a little different for me. And then I also read Bambi, A Life in the Woods by Felix Salten. Now, when I told, I was talking about this, and someone was like, "You're reading a Disney book for your podcast?" I'm like, "Nah, bruh, this is not a Disney book." I was like, "This is the book that Disney's Bambi was inspired by." But it's really not, okay? Now, obviously, we've seen the Disneyfied versions of both, and I think they did a really good job with Alice in Wonderland, and they did a really good job with Bambi, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of the movie Bambi, so I wasn't really that excited to read this book. But Bambi is basically about this deer who happens to be the prince of the forest. But it starts when he was born, right? So, and it's pretty much how the movie starts. Now he has forest animals as friends, and he has cousins, the 2 twins that are born around the same time he is. And then there's a man that comes to the forest, and he does these really horrific things to Bambi's mother and to Bambi himself. But even this hunter, this man, can't stop Bambi from becoming the prince of the forest. Okay, that's the whole story. Now, obviously, Alice in Wonderland, most people know the story of this one. It's basically about a girl named Alice, and she falls through a rabbit hole, and she ends up in this fantastical world with these really weird characters. So, why do I think Rory read both of these books? Because she did. They're on her list. Now, Bambi is one of those books where it's a coming-of-age story. So we watch Bambi grow from being a baby all the way up to taking his rightful place. It has really beautiful descriptions of the forest and of Bambi himself and what he experiences. It covers themes like life, death, and relationships between even humans and the natural world, which I found very enlightening. I could see why Rory would be really drawn to a book this way. Now, I think personally that Rory probably really enjoyed the prose. The writing was very, very beautiful. It was very descriptive. And I think, if you think about the logic here, okay, Rory is a reader. She likes her movies, don't get me wrong. But I think if she knew that there was a book and a movie, that she would have wanted to read the book. And I feel that that's probably what happened with Bambi and Alice in Wonderland, that she wanted to experience the book because there was a movie. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I actually firmly believe this. I think if somebody put me on a lie detector, that would be my truth, bro. That would be my truth. Now, Alice. Oh, Alice. We all love Alice, especially in this house. Alice in Wonderland, the movie, is one of those movies that my daughter Charlene, she has, here on the spectrum. She loves Alice, okay? I'm pretty sure that she loves the Cheshire Cat because he's, a little prankster like she is. But the book has some really clever wordplay. I think she would have really enjoyed that. It's really satirical. There's explorations of childhood and adulthood kind of overlapping with the the crazy zany nothing makes sense kind of thing going on as well. I think she would have gotten a kick out of reading it too, like I did. Now, the story has some really weird humor in there, and it was really nonsensical in spots too. I know that he was literally tripping on LSD or acid or something when he was writing this, but gee, it comes across, you can definitely tell that. And the character's really awesome, and I think that Rory would have really enjoyed this level of reading where it's not the same books that she would have been reading. Okay, but what did I think about the books? Like I said, Bambi was not one of my favorite movies. I have seen it. My kids watched it without me because it just couldn't. The movie is a lot older than I am, so I remember watching it as a kid. And it wasn't, there was no badass women in there, right? So I never really enjoyed it. So I wasn't looking forward to the book as much as I would something else. But it was such a sweet book. He had the joy, and I'm going to call it the joy. He had joy. Just seeing these things for the first time and meeting new creatures, and he sees the sun, and he goes through to the meadow place, right? And the joy, the excitement, the first time of like experiencing these things for himself was magical. It was absolutely magical. And don't get me wrong, it was so sad in spots, and my little feelers. I'm like, oh. I already owned copies of Bambi and Alice in Wonderland, so they're both up on my shelf anyway, but they'll definitely be added to my favorites shelf for my Read Like Rory bookcase when I get round to doing it. But it was really beautiful. I understand why Rory would have read it. I'm glad I didn't read it as a teenager. I don't think I would have appreciated it as much as I did as an adult. It's definitely a book I'm going to read to my kids. I think that they would really enjoy it too. And Alice in Wonderland, like I said, it was a reread. I've read this book probably half a dozen times to my kids, my youngest kids, and I'm fairly certain that my oldest daughter, Caitlin, she really enjoyed the book when she was little, and we used to read it quite frequently. So like I said, I did listen to the audiobook. I felt like it would feel different to me having it read to me opposed to me reading it for myself, and I still laughed my freaking ass off. It was so funny, the stuff that was happening. It was great. I don't know about you, but Alice is one of those books I think you can be any age and you're going to get a right kick out of it. So I really enjoyed them both. I gave them both 4 cups of Luke's coffee each. Like, they were well worth the read. So, I said last week, I actually had already finished Atonement. I could have sworn I had read this book. I own it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know what this is about. And I started reading it, and I'm like, I don't remember this happening. Really, that happened? And then I'm like, oh my god, I mixed it up with another book. It wasn't even what I thought it was. For the first couple chapters, I was like, eh. But anyway, that's the book that I've already read, so that's going to be next week's episode, so you should definitely join me for that. Have you read Atonement? Is it a book that you really enjoyed? Tuesday is another podcast episode. I've got a board full of ideas, and I've partially crafted probably about 12 more episodes, and I can't decide what I want to do next, because I just did the one about bookish terms, and I'm thinking maybe I might pick a trope and maybe tell you my hot take on that trope, what it's about, and then maybe the books that I enjoyed within that trope. I think that's kind of where I'm at, but if I change my mind, don't get upset, because I might. I hope you have a really good reading week, guys. If you want to follow me on TikTok, you can find me at Litdulterous or at Backlorian_designs. That is my reviews and my book merch. I probably post more book reviews than book merch, but you can find both there. I'm on Bookstagram. I have at Litdulterous Whore and at Backlorian Designs. Again, I post a lot of videos on my Litdulterous. I'm trying to make it more cohesive, but I am one of those content creators, where I'm like, woo, rabbit, woo, squirrel, and I just do whatever the heck I want. So, if you're like, oh my god, this chick's mental, yes, I am. Enjoy the ride. Now you can always come find me on YouTube if that's not where you're watching, at youtube.com/@Litdulterous. I'm on Spotify. You're just gonna have to type in Litdulterous, because the thing to open it's really weird. Like, there's numbers, and I'm not very computer friendly. I'm surprised I managed to get this much done. Anyway, I will see you guys on Tuesday. wait, if you want to come and join me on my podcast, send me an email, litdulterous@gmail.com, because I actually found a few people that would like to guest host. They have told me what books they'd like me to read, and they're the books we're going to discuss, and I'm really excited for that. But I would love more of this. I'd love to do at least a couple of guest host spots per month. Maybe have someone come on and not just talk about a book that they like, but maybe we could take opposing sides on a bookish topic. It'd be goddamn madness, but I love it. Anyway, I'm going to let you go because now I'm just rambling. Have a great one, guys. I'll see you on Tuesday. This is your host, Stacey Wright, signing off from the Litdulterous Whore. Have a good one. Bye.